بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فجعله غثاء نحوا سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. Inshallah, we're going to take ruling number 20. تثبت العدالة المرجع. Adalat of a marja is proven by these following things. Adala, we mentioned yesterday, but I'm repeating this because the second slide is depending on this slide. Adalat of marja is proven by al-ilm al-wijdani. Wijdani is from wajada, yajid, found, mawjood. The wijdani, that means he finds out by himself. That means self-knowledge. Al-ilm al-wijdani. أو الاطمئنان الحاصل من المناشئ العقلاية. Or through satisfaction which is acquired by intellectual resources. مناشئ العقلائية كالاختبار ونحو, like testing. Sometimes people they test, it could be a shameful situation, but suppose this guy did guts to test a marja, for example, and he found out no, he's a trustworthy and pious marja. Anyhow, so therefore testing, for example, and it's not decent to test marja, but if somebody has this guts or somebody might have gone through certain circumstances, you cannot blame him. الثاني شهادة عدلين. Two just witnesses. Because here you don't need a knowledgeable scholar. If you see two people who have lived with the marja and they have seen his akhlaq and good character, that's enough. That's not. Yes, but if there is something which requires knowledge, that means the marja did something in the community, it's haram thing. That kind of thing, before judging, you need to see scholars, you need to see whether yes, he had udhur in it, his ijtihad is different. For example, drinking najis water is haram. So maybe he is a mujtahid and he considers the Ahle Kitab pure. So he drank water which Ahle Kitab had touched it. So we cannot say he drank najis and he committed haram, because his ijtihad permits that kind of thing. For example, we cannot say, every day was he drinking haram. Or eating meat. Let's say there is a mujtahid who says the slaughterer doesn't need to be Muslim, and you follow a marja who says the slaughterer must be Muslim. So he eats meat of the Jewish people, kosher or whatsoever, because the dabih is Yahudi, the slaughterer is Yahudi. But you follow marja, to you he's eating meat, najis, he's eating haram. Now you have to be very careful. There are things based on ijtihad and taqleed might be different. And we asked Sayyid Abul Qasim al-Khu'i, that if we see somebody do haram thing or wrong thing, should we go and judge and say that the adala has fallen down? He said no, you have to give benefits of doubt. Maybe he was this, maybe he was that, maybe. You verify until you find out that yes, he did that intentionally, deliberately, purposely, willingly to disobey, then only his adalat goes down. Ek manas ne joya, ek bhai na saath, wow, that's it, khatam, finish, everything is done. Especially the women. Islam is danger zone, because women's dignity is very important. Just one word, oh no, we saw that girl with that guy. Okay, maybe she is a student, maybe she's a teacher, maybe she was buying something, selling things. So many benefits of doubt. Why just you want to judge, she has a bad relation? Why do you want to jump to that? It is haram from akbar al-kaba'ir to just judge people just from doing some actions. Sayyid al-Khu'i says, if you see somebody do haram, you give benefits of doubt until you find out that deliberate. One guy drank khamr. He drank khamr. No, maybe he was under pressure. Maybe he was forced. Maybe this, maybe that. Maybe he had a disease, hypothetically. And the doctor said, if you don't drink, you will die or something. There was serious danger on him. So all these, the benefits of doubt are there. Why do you want to conclude that he has committed haram? So this is the Sharia. So two just witnesses, if they say, it's okay. Or husn al-zahir. Apparently, that people, community, and you ask them, have you seen anything bad from this? Ma ra'ayna minhu illa khayra. We have not seen anything except good. Wallahu al-alim. Inner, Allah knows. But zahiran, apparently he has a good character. So that is also sufficient. Wal murad bi husnul zahir, good appearance. means husnul mu'ashara. When you were interacting with them, his dealing was good. His dealing was good. Was suluk ad-dini, and the conduct, religious behavior, religious conduct was good. وهو يثبت أيضا بأحد الأمرين. And this husn al-zahir, either you deal directly, or these two witnesses, they tell you that no, we dealt with him and he's good, his akhlaq is good. This is like another. And even if you see like a mujtahid gets upset or something like that, like there's a mujtahid, I don't want to mention him, he always gets upset on small things. So you cannot just say, oh yes, maybe he's under medication, because these are 80, 60, 70, 80 years people. They have certain disease, they have certain medications. If you are working in the hospital, they cause disturbance to your nervous system. Many times people, they say our elders, they are so annoying. So I tell them, you know, maybe they are having medications, so you have to give. One day you will be an elder also. So do you want, if you are under medication, you get upset, hyper, they have blood pressure problems, heart problems, they have so many things that they're like walking on like edge in the life, carrying a little bit of hope. So you see their mental, I mean, it shouldn't be, everybody needs to have patience. But badi angriyu ek jeva nathi. We have differences, people. So we have people, they observe big patience. We have people, they have observed mild patience. So you have to understand. So don't jump onto conclusion. So what happens is out of the control sometimes. It becomes hyper. So we have to understand not to jump to adalat immediately just because we see somebody got upset, or maybe he got upset with truth. You know, Amir al-Mu'mineen, sometimes these people, they used to like make the hell out of his life. People of Kufa and Nahrawan. So in one khutbah he says, Ya ashbah al-rijal wa laysu bir-rijal, yani old people who looks like men and now not men. لَقَدْ مَلَأْتُمْ قَلْبِي قَيْحًا, you have filled my heart with pus. Imagine Amir al-Mu'mineen says like that. How much these people of Kufa, like even Prophet Yunus alayhi salatu wasalam, ذَنُّنِي ذَبَ مُغَاضِبًا, was so upset of this qawm, because he was in Iraq, Nainawa. So the testifiers who testified them, they are less expert in fiqh and sharia and Islamic law. You see, yes, he has depth in philosophy and tafsir and all those, like Allama Tabatabai. But Allama Tabatabai was in the time of Sayyid Abul Qasim al-Khu'i, but Sayyid al-Khu'i was a'lam, and Allama Tabatabai may be a'lam in tafsir. So therefore the testimony needs to match the direction. We want taqleed in sharia, so we need a'lam in sharia, fiqh in sharia. Somebody could be a'lam in political system, that's fine. But here in taqleed we need a'lam in the Islamic legislative system. So that is very important. You will find shahadat of alamiyah for different maraja. But what we need here is those who are testifying the alamiyah, they need to be first of all expert in fiqh, usul, the methodology of deducing the law from its resources. That's the factor of preferences in this kind of direction. Ruling number 21. This is for our community, most of our community members. Because when I came here, they told me there are so many mujtahideen here. Yuhramul ifta. It is haram to give fatwa ala ghayr al-mujtahid mutlaqan. We need to put this on the notice board. So whoever is not mujtahid, absolutely means kabisa. Mutlaqan means kabisa, no way. Like batatan, like batata, not batata. Batata means potato. Batatan, no, mutlaqan, kabisa. So if you are not qualified, please don't give fatwas. Let the mujtahideen do their job and give fatwas. Now people, they are suggesting ideas. Why this? Why say this Sistani does not change his opinion to this? Mana, tame namaz paro, roja rakho. He say this Sistani ne na potano job karwa do. I mufti se, I fatwo card se, jagya se, gunjai se, to aap se, nathi to શું કરશે? ના પણ એને આ ફતવો ચેન્જ કર્યું, કેમ કે આપણે ડિસયુનાઇટ થઈ જશે. ઓકે, તમે તમારો યુનિટી એકાબીજાને રિસ્પેક્ટ રાખો, એકાબીજાને એહતિરામ કરો, આ યુનિટી મજબૂત રહેશે. તમે ફતવા મૂકી દો મરાજે ઉપર. So this needs to be in a bold in the notice board, because we have really people willing to give fatwa. Yuhramul ifta. It is haram to give fatwa, ruling on someone who is not a mujtahid. Absolutely. If you are not a mujtahid, no fatwa please. وأما من يفقد غير الاجتهاد من سائر الشرائط فيحرم الفتوى بقصد العمل بها. But if there is a mujtahid but he lacks other conditions, remember adalat, legitimacy of birth, all those kind of conditions, he lacks it. For example, he is a mujtahid or she is a mujtahid, but she's not a male. So in that case, based on Sayyid Sistani and the opinion of the Maraja, if somebody is a mujtahid but lacks the condition of marji'iyya, should not give a fatwa for others to follow. That means should not write Tawzih al-Masail or something like that, so that to follow me. No, he can act based on his fatwa, but he cannot let people. So he is a mujtahid, qualified, but other conditions are missing. وَأَمَّا مَنْ يَفْقِدْ غَيْرَ الْإِجْتِهَادِ. And as for someone who misses, who lacks the other conditions other than the ijtihad, then it is haram on him, forbidden on him to give rulings, fatwa, for people to implement or apply on it. بِقَصْدِ عَمَلِ غَيْرِهِ بِهَا. So that people can follow. He can give fatwa, telling the people, this is my opinion for me, but he cannot give fatwa so that people to follow him. Is it understood? This is very important. وَيُحْرَمُ الْقَضَاء. Judge. وَيُحْرَمُ الْقَضَاء. It is haram to become qadi, judge, on somebody who's not a mujtahid. Because qada is what? A judge sits on the chair, he looks at the external evidences and he gives a ruling. So it is a fatwa, but it is a hukum. We are going to talk about the difference between the fatwa and the hukum. So he's giving a ruling, but on a judiciary level, not on a legislative level. We have legislation, tashri', finding the law from the resources, Quran, Hadith, Aql, and bringing it into existence. And then when the judge sees the criminal and brings the testimonies and witnesses, and then he applies on it. So it is another level of fatwa, which is a judiciary. One was legislation, this is judicial or judiciary. So one is fatwa and one is hukum, qada. So these are the two levels. So as the mujtahid is expert in looking at the Quran and Hadith evidences there and deducing the law, that his expert now helps in understanding the evidences outside and deducing the ruling. See how similar it is? Number one, fatwa is from Quran and Hadith and the text resources. Number two, hukum, he also gives fatwa, but after looking at the testimonies and evidences and witnesses and all those kind of. So that is why it is haram for a person who's not mujtahid to become qadi. Now see how important this is. We are Muslim communities. How many people in Dar es Salaam? We need at least one or two mujtahidin. Why? Because we have so many cases. So many cases of divorce. We need a mujtahid in it. And when we say mujtahid, not necessarily marja. The qadi is not necessarily a marja. If the qadi gives a hukum, your marja cannot nullify it, unless if there was an evidence that there was error in the procedure. It's very important to understand. Many times we got divorced from a mujtahid, and then people they say, no, I'm following Sayyidi Sistani, I'm not following that mujtahid, I don't care. Sayyidi Sistani by himself says, if a mujtahid gives hukum, another mujtahid cannot nullify a hukum, because that person studied the evidences, studied the external evidences, testimonies. I did not look at that. I cannot nullify unless you file an appeal. Remember, appeal to Supreme Court to open the case again. Even in the intellectual society, when a qazi, a judge gives hukum, you cannot go to another judge, another courtroom. No. If you want, you can file in a Supreme Court and open the case again. Or if you have new evidences, you can present it to the same judge to open the case. Otherwise, if the case is closed, dismissed, that's it. Other judge cannot come and interfere, because this judge was expert. So that's why many people, they come to me, I ask them first thing, and I'm not a judge, we try to get the fatwa of Maraja in application. So I ask them, did you go to Sheikh Ali Dina? Many times they go to Sheikh Ali Dina, they don't get answer, they come to me. They think that I will give them answer. So that's why I have to be very careful to ask them. Sometimes they hesitate, we went there. I said, did you go or not? Yeah, I went. What did he say? This. Okay, I will say the same thing, unless we sit with Sheikh Ali Dina all together and discuss it again. Otherwise, what he said, I'm going to say the same thing. Unless if there was an error, then I'll go and discuss with Sheikh Ali Dina and I'll ask him, did this happen? What happened? Or opposite, he comes to me and asks me, did you say it like that? So we try to work together, because it's a very sensitive issue, especially in talaq issues. Many people, like one guy came to me with the fatwa and he wanted the answer, and I showed to Sheikh Ali Dina. He said this guy had come to me before also, and I told him it cannot be done, and now I said okay, then I'll say the same thing. So therefore people, they are like that. You cannot, it will become messy society. Islam as an intellectual society, Muslim society goes with the intellectual system. Mujtahid gives a hukum, that's it. So it's your responsibility to become mujtahid and become judges in our community. It's too late for me to go and continue, but it is too early for you. You can go, and we'll keep teaching the rest of the community members as long as we live. But someone of you need to become mujtahid and come. We have ladies issues a lot. I mean, you have to become mujtahid, not marja' taqleed. We're not talking marja' taqleed. We are talking about judge. If you are mujtahid, if you are qualified, you reach the level of ijtihad, then we need people. What happens, many of the Hausa students, they go home, 8-10 વર્ષની બેસીને પાછા આવી જાય. બને તમે મુજતહિદ બનીને આવો. આપણા પાઘડી વાળા તો એટલા બધા બેસા છે અહીંયા. We have a lot of lot of people. We need mujtahideen in the community. We have lot of cases on hold. You don't need a marja' to solve those cases. This is a judge. You need a judge, and the judge is not marja' taqleed. He could be. Now let's say, example, if you take a case of talaq, we took a lot of cases, hundreds of cases were given to Sayyidi Sistani. Nothing comes done. Because Sayyidi Sistani is very busy in marja'iyya. A judge means, like for example, when people, they come to me and Sheikh Alidina, they take hours and hours to explain their case. The women, she explains 1 hour. And this is their right. We have to hear them out. Then the guy. The worst part is they keep repeating. But you know, I said, you told me yesterday, bring something new, my dear, because my time is really short. But you know that you said this also, you said this also. I remember all what he said. I said, give me something new which you did not say, because I am listening to the other side also. She will rebuttal, he will rebuttal. He, she said, Safa Marwa, thai jai sa apno. We have thousands of things. So imagine Sayyidi Sistani, he is dealing with the world affairs. If a talaq case comes to him, it will destroy his responsibilities. So that's why it is not fair even to dump these cases on Sayyidi Sistani, because he is not acting as a judge. He's acting as a marja' now. But if any mujtahid doesn't have any followers, marja'iyah, we can hire him and tell him, please, you stay in the qom, but deal with our talaq cases. Study them. We can bring him 1 week to Dar es Salaam to collect all the testimonies, witnesses, hearings and all this. He can go back to Qom and give us the answers and decrees. We need to do something like that in the community. That will solve a lot of problems. So mujtahid is very important. Being Islamic society in the world, we don't have mujtahideen except in Qom and Najaf. That's not a good thing. Mujtahid can be marja' if he gives his tawdihul masail and people they follow, and can be mufassir, does investigation more in tafsir, can be philosopher, and can be judge, opens the courtroom, receives the people coming. I cannot give fatwa, hukum. Sheikh Alidina cannot. We are not mujtahidin. When people they come with disputes, we do musalaha, reconciliation. Okay, mana tame maaf karo, tamara bhai se tame maaf karo. Oh no, I want my right. So bring the evidences. They bring the evidences, we write the evidences, testimonies. We have to send it to mujtahid. If they agree on the musalaha, case closed. Sitting, friendly gathering, brotherly, we can solve the case. We do like that. We don't have the authority to give hukum. When they start to become tough, then we become tough and we say, okay, then wait, keep on hold. Let's bring the answer from a mujtahid. Let's find one mujtahid who's willing to solve our problem. That we don't have until now. Huge community. That's why I've been pushing for Sheikh Alidina when he was there in Qom, to see if he gets one mujtahid known so that he can help our community. We can hire him. We can pay him. Alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed us with a lot of wealth. And what will be his pagar, like monthly? He's living in Qom, he has all what he wants. So we will give him decent, like salary of a professor, because he's a mujtahid. But we have to give him case, or per cases, pay per case, like the attorneys. The attorneys, dunya wala itla lakho dollar lei jai se. To apne sukam apna proper attorney ne na ape, because he's a judge. We'll give him as whatever and appreciate him, because we cannot keep the religious scholar as dunyawi professional, because if they are doing fi sabilillah, we cannot match them with dunya. But we have to somehow appreciate the services. That's why we are offering them support, so that they can allocate their time just for us. If you become council members of Khoja Jamaat in Dar es Salaam, if you have the strong seats and positions, inshallah one day will happen that, don't give up, be Zainabiyat, then put this in the mind of the community. We need a judge. Either bring him here, or either let him stay there, but let him come once a week here, so that our cases are presented. Day and night he will be putting appointments, case number, testimonies. Then he goes there. He comes then after 1 month and calls. We have cases for 6-7 years lying there. Ladies, they have not been given divorce. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ. Don't leave her hanging. إِمَّا إِمْسَاكٌ بِمَعْرُوفٍ أَوْ تَسْرِيحٌ بِإِحْسَانٍ. Either you hold her with good behavior and conduct, or release her with good. Tasrihun bi ihsan. But وَلَا تَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ, don't let her hang in between here and there. She's a human. She has her life. She has to carry on. This is adab, because men, no, we are not going to give talaq. She has to give my child. She has to give that. But child is a different issue. Let's open another case for the child. Who takes him, who does not take him, we'll discuss that. Don't mix it together. You don't want her? No, I don't want her. Then why don't you give child? Okay, then we are going to do talaq. No, but I want child. That's another. Let's open a case. Why you're hanging, mixing? I want $100,000 from her. She has taken from you. Let's open another case. Why you're mixing this with all the other cases? Let that case be different. Let this case be different. And this is one case. We need to solve it. You want her or not? No, but I want my money. Okay, that's it. Divorce. That's it. So we have to solve these problems. Women, they cannot be hanged up like that. So I might have said so many things, but haqq needs to be said. Sayyidi Sistani told me, Anta ya Azizi, you my beloved, you have to bring awareness to the people. And I said, Sayyidina, I am doing whatever I am doing, and whatever comes, fi sabilillah. So therefore, it is very important to have judge in a community. Qadi, judge. يُحْرَمُ الْقَضَاءَ عَلَى مَنْ لَيْسَ أَهْلًا لَهُ. Now, sometimes what happens in our community, we have problem. We take them to our wadilo. Our wadilo solve kari de case. Our wadilo so kar se bechara. They are not knowledgeable. They are not mujtahid. They are not. Yes, if they can do musalaha, alhamdulillah. But if they give hukum, then they are committing haram. They cannot give hukum. Just because you have $1 million or you are a multi-millionaire, that does not give you the right to give hukum. Yes, you can put pressure, influence, musalaha, but you cannot give. I'm not saying somebody is giving hukum, but future some might be muftis. We will have qazis also, inshallah. We don't know. I hope we have real muftis and real qazis. Anyhow, several cases we solved. And his girl was divorced. He writes to Sayyidi Sistani that this mujtahid divorce, and Sayyidi Sistani told him, refer to our office. I was in the office. We told him that any mujtahid can do, and Sayyidi Sistani cannot do anything unless if you take the case there and he agrees to take the case, then otherwise he's given the authority to other mujtahidin to solve the case. So he could not. He kept shouting, and that's it. I mean, it's haram. You don't want her, that's it. Let her go. Don't keep her hanging. This is a hukum. There is a general ruling. If the husband does not pay the nafaqah and he refuses to pay the nafaqah, then a scholar can issue the divorce on behalf of the marja. Sayyidi Sistani is given certain guidelines. But if the case is out of those guidelines, then you need to present it to a mujtahid. And the mujtahid needs to give a hukum of detachment. Like for example, one of the things is that we summon the husband. Number one, letter goes. We make sure that he receives it. He signs his signature, received email. 2, 3 doesn't. And he tells, the alim tells, if in the third you don't respond, we are going to let her go. And that several times it happens. The husband doesn't want to come. And this mujtahid in London, he charges per hour $100. Why? Because when you put charges, the person who's going to come is going to limit to as necessary points. But if you keep it, because I have done free of charge and I have seen they repeat and repeat and repeat. But if you put charges, he will make sure that this 1 hour he will use it and nichodi ne एक कलाक $100 पूरो इस्तेमाल कर सकते हो. He will put points 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You put all the story in 1 hour. Otherwise, he will not charge him because he has experience. And I learned from him, but I don't like to charge. I said, you have the right, because they go to the counselors, dunyawi, and they charge them. So why should religious clergy should not charge for this time which is spent? And this also puts discipline on those people who come. So anyhow, if you become counselor and you are hearing, if you become a judge or a mujtahid or even a scholar to listen the case, you have the right to put this thing, because we need in a community people like you to come and make a council of women to deal with these cases. We need women to hear our women ladies and then come to us and tell us what do they think, what do they propose, what do they suggest. It's a very important thing. This community needs these kind of things. So يحرم القضاء على من ليس أهلا له. It is haram to give a judiciary decree, al-qadha, or it is haram to become a judge. Or a qadha means the judiciary decree. Like yuhram al-qadha ala al-judge, because qadi is judge. Qadha is giving decree of judiciary decree. So it's haram to give a judiciary decree for someone who is not qualified for it. ليس أهلا له. ولا يجوز الترافع إليه. He is not qualified. You cannot raise your case to him. You cannot file your case to that person because he's not qualified. ولا الشهادة عنده. And let's say there is a case open. A person is not qualified. They ask you to testify there. No. It is haram to go and testify also. So it's haram for him to give judgment. It's haram for the people to open the file there. it is haram for the testifiers to give testimony there. We'll finish this mas'ala and we are done. But if let's say we don't have a qadi, we don't have a proper qadi, إذا لم ينحصر استنقاذ الحق المعلوم بذلك. This is a ruling which says, suppose if we go to the civil court, then what? Yes, if there is no Shar'i scholar, Shar'i decree, Shar'i qadi court whatsoever, then you want your right back, and the only way to rescue your right is to go into the civil court. In front of Allah, this is your right. So in that case, you can go to the civil court. If in front of Allah, it is your right. If it's not your right, you cannot go. So, إِذَا لَمْ يَنْحَصِرْ إِسْتِنْقَاذ أَنْقَذ means saving, rescuing. Rescuing the right, al-haq, al-ma'loom. Known, yes. It's not doubtful. If doubtful right, no. If you know that this is your right, you can go and file the case there. بِذَلِكَ كَذَا الْمَالِ الْمَأْخُوذ بِحُكْمِ حَرَامٍ. The money which comes to you from approaching this judge is haram, unless you know that this is your money for sure. But if there is a doubt, no. وكذا المال المأخوذ بحكم حرام إذا لم يكن شخصيا أو مشخصا بطريق شرعي. If it was not specified, if it was not distinguished that this is your with any kind of religious indication, then you cannot take it. But if it was specified, if there is knowledge that this is yours, there are religious indications that this is yours, then it is halal. Then وَإِلَّا فَهُوَ halal. So the mal taken from this, if it was not specified or not verified by any religious indications that it is yours, it's haram. But if it was verified, then it is halal. حتى إذا فيما لم ينحصر استنقاذ بالترافع إليه وإن أثم في طريق الوصول إليه. What he's trying to say at the end, let's break this down into 3 points. Number one, somebody who's not qualified. It is forbidden for him to give fatwa. It is forbidden for you to file your case with him. It is forbidden to testify in front of him. That's number one. But if your right cannot be achieved unless if you go to the civil court or somebody who's not qualified, then you can go there. Number one. Number two, what about the benefits you get? The ruling for you, the money you got it back, the mal you got it back. This mal, if it is yours in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if specified, indicated, there are indications, religious indications that this is yours, then you can take it. But if not, then it is not permitted for you to take it. Then he says at the end, if the mal was indicated that it is yours, then even if there were other ways, like for example, we have religious court and we have civil court, but you know that this mal is yours for sure, you have an option either to go to religious court, our Shia, or to go to the civil court. In that case, if your mal is known, you can go to the civil court even if there was a religious court available. So if everything is clear and indications are there in front of Allah, you take this huge responsibility that this is my property, then even if there is an option to go to religious court, you can go to the civil court as an option. وَإِنْ أَثِمَ فِي طَرِيقِ الْوُصُولِ إِلَيْهِ. Ithim is guna. Even though in the case of option, you can go to the civil court, but you will be committing haram. That means the mal you will get is halal. The judiciary procedure, it's okay. But you have committed haram by choosing a civil court over Islamic court. وَصَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِهِ الطَّاهِرِينَ.